Hey, and welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up. This is, the first 15 minutes, you'll be able to listen and enjoy hard, get to know our guests a little bit better. But after that, it's going to cut off. And if you want to continue enjoying the full episode, we have a $6 tier on our Patreon. That's all you gotta pay, $6 a month to join our Patreon, where you get amazing episodes like this, a part of our Chopping Up series, our match preview series, Breaking Bread, and plenty more in the works. I was figuring out if I was gonna say something, but I'll keep it to myself. It's for our patronies, which actually, what I will say is we're doing a sale for the next 9 days. I'll put the code in our show description. If you put in the code when you subscribe to our $6 tier, it's $3 for this month. So come join in, enjoy a 50% discount. Hey, I'm a big fan of a discount, and enjoy all of our amazing content upwards to, if I'm feeling myself and I book enough guests, we've had 20 extra hours of content. So just episode after episode after episode. That was a little lot. That's a southern ass accent. That was a lot on my end. So maybe not that much, but when city men and women are playing, we got to do the match previews. I'm not going to stop doing the interviews. So it bees like that sometimes. Today, we have a wonderful guest, first time on. Super excited. I remember it was like a month or so ago. They're a good follow if you follow them on social media. Naturally a citizen. It's the vibes. I remember just seeing their post. They're like, hey, thinking of dabbling in the podcasting space if anybody is willing to have me. And the homie Tarek reached out to him, added him, and was just like, hey, is there any way we can get something figured out? And here we are. You will probably hear his voice, recognize his voice. I've seen him on 9320. I don't know what else he does, so I'm sure he's out there in these podcasting streets. But Shady Gang, give it up. Welcome on, Tom. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Of course. Hey, the honor's all ours. It's always good to connect with a fellow Blue, but naturally, like you said, so like I said earlier, you wanting to try this space out. I feel like a lot of people think about it, or they'll say something, and I've reached out, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
But you got back to me, and boom, now we got you on, and I'm super excited to be able to chat with you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's something I used to be involved back when Twitter wasn't what it is now.
Yes.
Toxic environment. I was involved in, I created a Twitter page called Your MCFC. I don't know if anyone listening to this will know of it, but I grew that to, I think, about 20,000 followers at the time. This was about 10 years ago. But since then, I've been out of the city community as a whole. So just observing from afar, that sort of thing. And I thought, I listened to so many podcasts, especially city ones. So it's I just thought I'd throw my hat in the ring and see who give me a chance. And luckily, you guys and 9320 have had me on as well, which has been really good fun. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, 9320. They are. I say it like every other podcast. They are the homies. I try not to listen to too many people because honestly, I'm just a little busy. I've been falling behind on all my podcasts, but for the most part, I really like listening to every other podcast other than football podcasts, but except for there are a couple of like football finance, because that's my biggest weakness is like football finance. So I've been trying to listen to that a little bit more, be a little more tapped in on the behind the scenes of football, and that's been fun. So yeah, whenever, and besides, that's half the reason why I bring people on to talk football, because it's like, why do I need to listen to all these podcasts if I'm chatting with people talking about football all day? Like it just kind of makes me feel like I'm on a hamster wheel at times. And so
yeah, I can get that.
Let's start here though. How did you fall in love with football, and how did you become a Manchester City fan?
The two sort of go hand in hand for me. I didn't really have a choice of who I supported as a kid. My dad has been a City fan since the 60s, so there's a natural, you're not supporting anyone else kind of vibe.
Especially not United.
Especially not United. Yeah, that would have been disowned sort of territory. Yeah, that wouldn't have flown well at all. But so my journey supporting City started. So I was born in St Mary's Hospital, which is central Manchester. And funny story, actually, my dad took me to the window because you could see Main Road from. It wasn't too far away from the hospital, and he held me up to the window and he said, "If you're ever in trouble, I'll take you there," because we weren't very good for the first 15
That'll
years
help
of my
you
life.
become a little more aware. If you think you're down bad,
Exactly.
let's go to the main road. That'll teach
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. So unfortunately, I never got to watch a game at Main Road, but my dad took me to pick up his season ticket. So I was on the pitch because they used to allow people on the pitch when they were collecting season tickets, I think. So that was the closest I got to Main Road, unfortunately. But my first game was at Bolton away in 2003. That was the Okocha team, prime Sam Allardyce, Barclays era. We lost 2-0 and it was raining.
Naturally.
So
yeah. It couldn't get more quintessential,
that's
like OG Manchester.
Classic City, yeah. And then my first home game at the Etihad, or City of Manchester Stadium, as it obviously used to be called, was the first ever game at the new ground, which was a friendly versus Barcelona. We won 2-1. Ronaldinho was playing, Xavi was playing, Puyol was playing. So yeah, Anelka got the first ever goal at the Etihad, and Trevor Sinclair followed that up. And then yeah, it's been some ride since. Fortunately, I didn't have to suffer as long as my dad did. But
no, not at all.
I do remember us being crap. So yeah.
And said Trevor Sinclair, my brain just went, whoa.
Yeah.
So what is your dad's thoughts on, watching the team be so bad for so long to now seeing the heights that they have hit?
I guess he's a lot more chilled, especially in situations like this. I think
yes,
that the kids these days are probably maybe a little bit spoiled, especially right now with it's not the end of the world being fifth and sixth as of speaking. I think Newcastle are beating Leicester 3-0 right now. So he's a lot more calm in situations like this than I think the kids are these days. But his attitude's rubbed off on me, so he just enjoying the good moments, and I'm sure they'll still continue.
Of course. I think being able to talk about this team as often as I do, that is, and specifically this season, whenever I think I am like very angry or pissed off or anything like that, I go over to Twitter, and that will be like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Or there'll be times where I'll have a take, and then I kind of see it prevalent on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, I need to back off. I need to reconfigure some things.
People go way over the top over there, but expectations do rise naturally, so we can still criticize. It's just it's just the level of which people go to is mental sometimes.
I'm with you. Oddly enough, your same story about when you were born, your dad pointed you towards Main Road. I had Joe Walker on for our man's 5-year plan fanzine to do City Crystal Palace match preview, and that was the same exact thing his dad did. He was born at the hospital right across from Southwest Park. And that's exactly what his dad said to him, and I was like, oh, I love this. It's one of those, because we do a Thursday night live stream every Thursday, and our first guest, John's a good friend of mine. He's a City fan, but he just had a baby. He's like 3 months old. He's trying to figure out how do you make your kid a City fan, and everybody who's English in the chats were just like, just telling me he has no choice. But in America, it's a little different. We want to give people the choice and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely going to be, naturally, you just have your kid in sky blue all the time in City gear. And so all the pictures when they get older, they'll just see themselves in City gear. That could push them the right way. But yeah, you definitely kind of gotta put the fear of God in them. Worst case, where it's like, hey, if you want to support this other team, you got to find somewhere else to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. I know there's some guys at work that are probably 10 years older than me, and their kids are probably that are, I guess, 10 now, really getting into football. A lot of them United fans, and then the kids are actually City fans. I couldn't imagine if I am lucky enough to have kids, them growing up to support United. I think that's just
that would be sacrilege. It would be very painful. Yeah, like I could understand a sibling, a cousin, something like that, because that's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
Technically the tiny version of you, like in the other team. Yeah, that would definitely hurt.
It hurt.
What is something you think is overrated about football? I mean, we'll go to the other side with underrated, but I love starting with overrated.
So it's a modern football thing that I've been thinking about recently, and it's mainly comes around in the summer transfer windows or just generally throughout the season. I've noticed a trend where football executives are getting hyped the same as players on social media. So people, fans getting Liverpool fans, for example, getting excited for what's he called, Michael Edwards coming back last summer, or a couple of their guys coming back, or United in the summer just gone with Dan Ashworth and all Jim Ratcliffe's gang coming in. And fans are reacting as if they've just signed Messi, Ronaldo, or whoever the next. I just think that's just not football at all. We don't get excited about the guys behind the scenes. Yeah, they obviously contribute to the success of the clubs, but come on, that's just something I think it's very modern football-y, and it's like, come on, like we fall in love with the game because of the players and the manager, or not these guys behind the scenes.
I'm with you. Even with like Arsenal and their set piece manager, I know a lot of people hate that guy, and I mean, I actually don't watch too many Arsenal games because one, it's just I don't want to watch set piece FC, and I just don't want to watch a team that I know eventually should win, and kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it. But I know a lot of people, they know his name, they know what he looks like, they get angry that he's all in the box with Arteta.
Yeah,
it's like I don't care. I wouldn't be able to point him out. I don't know his name. People said it to me multiple times and went in one ear and out the other. Once he becomes a manager, then sure, I'll get it. But like, why are you feeling?
You don't see us. He used to be our set piece coach, Arsenal set piece coach. He used to be ours.
Okay, maybe and maybe that's why people get so upset, is because
maybe he's always on the camera though, isn't he? It's just like sit on the bench, mate.
Oh, what is something that is underrated about football?
I got a couple of things here, and one of them's, I'm just going to contradict myself a bit at the minute.
Let's go for it.
Cheeky Berigestein. I know he's a football exec, but he's getting so much stick from mainly, to be fair, it's mainly the online support base. I know the teams, the club's not recruited too well in the last couple of years, but this guy's overseeing the recruitment of every City player since 2012. So De Bruyne, all these guys that have made us the most successful team in England over the last 10, 15 years. And the second he has a couple bad years, his head's on a pitchfork sort of thing. I know that's me contradicting myself massively from what I've just said, but I do think he's underrated now, especially amongst the online support base.
I'm with you. It was funny because when you said the overrated, I almost went, well, I mean, I'm with you, but when it comes to cities, because it was part of the takeover.
Yeah.
So that's why they tend to get so much love and focus, because of they were key. He's key to where the team is now. And so like I completely get where you're going.
I think they should be appreciated for the job they do. I think where I was coming from is Fabrizio Romano's now reporting on these guys joining new clubs, and I think that's more. It's more like the hype around them joining
Game's
the club
gone.
rather than literally, rather than the good job that they do and what they should get praised for. Obviously, City's board has been fantastic for nearly 20 years now. I'll touch a little bit on ticketing later because that's something
good.
I wanted to bring up.
Perfect. Yeah.
There's a couple of things they don't do too well, but on the whole, they've done a good job.
Yeah. What was the other underrated?
So I think a lot of our legendary players, so Aguero, De Bruyne, Silva, company, don't get the credit that they deserve outside of City. So, I mean, I think a lot of the reaction from outside of City to De Bruyne leaving, being announced on Friday, has genuinely been really good. I think a lot of people will have him rightly as the best. Well, a lot of people would have him in the Premier League team of all time, but he's the best midfielder in Premier League history for me by a mile. But I think that he definitely gets the most credit from outside of the City support base. But you look at Aguero, 184 goals, Premier League goals in like nearly 275 games or something like that. He's the 6th highest Premier League goal scorer of all time, best goals per game ratio in Premier League history, and he's never talked about, I don't think, as widely as he should. Similar to David Silva, a lot of City